Hi everyone, I'm Yasin from PSU Pattani.
And I am Nurasikin from PSU Pattani.
And this is our very first episode of our new podcast.
This podcast is designed to help you improve your English through our natural discussions.
Yep, and today we are going to talk about why do most Thai people cannot speak English, which I think is something that we can understand and talk about it.
Right, very interesting.
So I think that is the best place to start is with Thai education. So how about you, Nurasikin? Have you ever studied English in Thai education system? And what was it like when you were studying?
Alright. Then the teachers obsessed too much with grammar which is written on the board, and I couldn't speak English outside at all. Therefore, I lacked in listening and speaking skills until high school. I developed English ability quickly because I and my friends always speak each other. One more thing, Hello Talk is an application which I use to talk with native speakers. I get a good experience from that communication. Exactly helps me improving skills. So how about you, Yasin?
I think that if you look back to when you were still in elementary school or high school, you would know that learning English in class mostly focused on grammar, reading, and writing, right?
I agree, yeah.
There is hardly any English conversation. Moreover, the school environment is not conducive to speaking English. The English that Thai people study in the education system places emphasis on memorizing vocabulary. From my experience, before I went to the university, I have to take the GET-PAT exam first. The teacher who teaches English subjects, he will give students memorize more than 500 verbs. The reason he has them recite is because it's about preparing for university entrance exams. If we notice education emphasizes studying to take the exam rather than focusing on speaking for actual use. Do you know where Thailand ranks in global English language skills rankings?
I think Thailand is probably in the middle.
If we look at the overall rankings around the world, Thailand is ranked 97th out of 111 countries around the world, and is ranked 21st out of 24th countries in Asia by ranking of EF Education First 2022.
Is it true that Thailand is ranked almost last?
Yeah, and you know how many percent of Thai people can speak English?
Maybe 40%?
No, only 10% of Thai people can communicate in English, which makes Thailand rank 5 out of 10 countries in ASEAN.
It's very little. Why is it this little?
Yeah, that's right. And what do you think is the reason why most Thai people cannot speak English?
I think it's because of the education system.
And why do you think like that?
Because the education system is very important for language learning. You try to observe Thai children. Emphasize that most Thai children studying in Thailand cannot speak English. If you compare it to other countries in ASEAN that have the ability to speak English fluently, such as Singapore, do you know what makes Singapore successful in education?
I think Singapore might have a good education system, right?
Exactly. Singapore has an education policy called the bilingual education policy that was started 60 years ago. Then English is said to be the main language used in schools and used to teach all subjects.
Wow.
Teachers will also have communication skills and use their tone of voice in teaching effectively and receive good compensation. Overall, a good educational foundation makes Singapore successful.
Wow. And I think that if Thailand sets up a good education system, it will allow people to communicate in English. And I think that Thai people's habits also have something to do with improving their English.
Why do you think habits are related to language development?
Because of the traditional habits of most Thai people, they are less likely to have the courage to use language and are afraid to say the wrong sentence when they talk to foreigners. But it really mistakes are what makes us develop language. And do you think that Thai people's habits are related to language development?
Thai people often start by memorizing vocabulary and grammar to the point of not being able to use it in real life. I think the essential skills for English are listening and speaking because it is a way of learning to correct behavior that can improve language development.
Yep, and I think habit is a very important part of language development. So how can we effectively improve our English by ourselves if we don't go abroad?
There is research from Chris Lonsdale, psychologist and linguist, a New Zealand educator with an interest in accelerated learning. He spent many years researching and developing strategies for learning languages quickly and effectively within 6
Wow,
months.
so cool.
The first is listen a lot. Even if you don't understand any meaning, but listen to understand the rhythm, tone, and style of language. And next, focus on getting the meaning first. You need to communicate clearly by focusing gestures and facial expressions. You shouldn't focus too much on vocabulary. And next is start mixing vocabulary practice. Take equal number of nouns, verb, and adjective and mix them back and forth to make multiple sentences. This method can be used to practice speaking and writing. And then focus on the core, learning common sentences in everyday life. Get a language parent. You have to find native speakers. That is, find friends who can speak that language. That we feel is a safe zone to dare to try. And then copy the best is to remember and use when speaking by trying to imitate the shape of the mouth to make us more familiar with that language. And lastly, direct connect to mental images. Try to remember the words together with the pictures in your head. Recently, I used the copy to the face technique to practice speaking English. It might ensure pronunciation when speaking.
Wow, that is a great technique.
What about you? Do you have any techniques that help improve your English?
Yes, I do. I took the technique from the YouTube channel Zoe Languages. She is doctor and researcher in the field of social anthropology, and she can speak several languages: Chinese, English, French, German, Arabic, Turkish, Persian.
Wow.
She was originally Chinese but lives in France. She did her own research and experimentation about effectively language learning methods. Let me share some important technique what we can use right away without having to go abroad. You can study by yourself.
Yeah, go ahead.
She said that if you want to improve your language, you have to make your environment the language you want. For example, if we want to improve our English, we have to think and speak in English. Where we go, who we talk to, what we do, we have to use English. In English, they call this process, this is called immersion, which means absorbing the language. Is we must live in an environment that allows us to speak that language. I have applied this technique to myself in improving my Arabic language and English. I will find friends who wants to improve Arabic and English together. Even though you are Thai, we would not speak Thai at all. As a result, it took me about 1 year to make me speak Arabic fluently. As for English, I am constantly learning it.
Yeah, so that's our first podcast. I hope you enjoyed it.
And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below in the comment area. And we will definitely respond. Yeah, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, we'll be back very soon. I hope you have a good week and see you soon.
Goodbye.